Welcome to another session which is on class advanced methods, which is part 7 of module 6 classes and OOPs. So now we will discuss a few more advanced topics in Python OOPs. We will begin with method overriding. We can provide sorry we can provide some specific implementation of the parent class method in our child class. We will see how it works, and when the parent class method is defined in the child class with some specific implementation, then the concept is called method overriding. If you see one example, bank class, name of the class is bank. It is our base class. Let's consider it as a base class or super class. And get ROI, that's get a rate of interest. Get a rate of interest is our method. So in that, what it should return is 10. Then we have a subclass of it, which is SBI, State Bank of India, SBI, and then it inherits from bank, and then a rate of, again we use the same method, that's get ROI, and then it should return 7. Whereas ICICI Bank, it is also takes the super class as bank. It inherits from bank class, and rate of interest for this is 8. So now what we will do is, so each has their own implementation of method. So bank class, that's the super class, has its own implementation of method get ROI. For SBI get ROI, it has one implementation. For ICICI Bank, it has its own implementation. So now we will see what is the result we get when I call those attaching to the objects. First, B1, that's a branch 1 object for bank, and B2 is a branch of State Bank, that is a real entity, and then B3 is a branch of ICICI Bank. This is also a real entity. Now let's call get ROI method for each instance. Basically, we have created 3 instances here, and we'll call for each and every instance, and we'll see what is the result we get. So for B1, B2, B3, the output is 10, 7, 8. Though your method is same for all classes, but each have their own specific implementation. That is the reason we used to get a separate result. So this is called method overriding. This is called method overriding. Basically, the methods are being overridden based on the specific to that class, specific to the that class which it exists. I hope you got this point. Then we have data abstraction. Data abstraction. So as we had a trailer of the data abstraction in our last videos. If you haven't watched it, just go back and watch those videos, and then come back here. So now we will see the full picture of it. Abstraction is used to hide the internal functionality of the function from the users. An abstraction is used to hide the irrelevant data or class in order to reduce the complexity. It also enhances the application efficiency. A class that consists of one or more abstract method is called abstract class. So abstract class, we know abstract method. So basically we hide the internal functionality of the function from the users. So now if any class which consists of some abstract methods, at least one or more, then it's called abstract class. Then it's called abstract class. Python provides the ABC, small a, small b, small c, ABC module to use the abstraction in the Python program. Let's see the following syntax. So from ABC, import capital A, capital B, capital C. This is the class. Capital A, capital B, capital C is a class, and small a, small b, small c is a your module. From that module, import ABC class. So now write any class name and insert that ABC class inside it as a superclass. Then an abstract class can contain both method normal and abstract method. Oh yeah, that's how it works. And finally, an abstract cannot be instantiated. I will show you how this works in Jupyter Notebook. But for now, you just try to understand an abstract cannot be instantiated. If it is a class, it cannot be instantiated. We cannot create objects for that abstract class. You just remember this point. Now we will move on to very crazy topic that is mostly neglected, because I have seen so far in my experience, I have watched so many videos and I have listened to so many tutors. Mostly they have neglected this, but this is very important to understand the Python in a whole. So now we will discuss about that. It's about the variable types, or we say member types. So we'll begin with this is also a data abstraction in Python, but it's a little in depth. The first we'll begin with public members. Generally, methods declared in a class are accessible from outside the class. If public members are accessible from outside the class, the object of the same class is required to invoke a public method. Then how does this look like? That could be your next question. So I will show you. So student class, name of the class, and school name is our class attribute. So I haven't included anything with the variable name. It's just a school name. And I have used constructor, that is parameterized constructor. Then I have defined those instance variables or instance attributes. So this is my final program. So whatever variables or names that we have given, school name or age, these are all called public members. These are all part of that class student, but these are all public members, and these can be accessed from outside the class also. The object of this class is required to invoke a public method. So that is the main objective of putting these public members. Then the second one is protected members. So protected members of a class are accessible from within the class and are also available to its subclasses, but no other environment is permitted to access it. So what we are doing is we are blocking the way, we are creating a firewall. Okay, so here, so only the subclasses can access, or within the class and subclasses, but nobody else can access. So the access control is increased. So now we will see how does this look like. So what do we need to use to make a protected members? Because we have seen a public members. Now how can we make a protected members? Again, we have taken the same example, student. We have used the same variable, a name, that is school name. But this time what we have done is we have attached a underscore in front of school name. That's a trailing single underscore. School name is called as a protected member. And similarly, we have defined a parameterized constructor self dot. Again, here you see name, instance attribute. You don't need to make a parameters as protected, because anyway these are all implicit assignment operator, implicit assignment. So attributes are the one, these, see these school name, self dot name, in that name. So this is what are the members, these are the attributes, because school name is our class attribute, and this name is our instance attribute, and age, this underscore age is our another instance attribute. So that's why you have to attach that underscore, a single underscore in front of these instance attributes to make them as a protected members. Now what is the benefit? This cannot be accessible anywhere from outside other than from your subclass and then within the class. So you got how to write a protected member. Okay, so this is how we write the protected member. Now let's wipe this off and then we'll move on to another one. Then third one we have is private member. Private member, so it begins with the double underscore, or the double underscore prefixed. It is a prefixed to a variable, makes it private. I hope you got it. It gives a strong, it gives a strong suggestion not to touch it from outside the class. Any attempt to do so will result in an attribute error. I hope you got how to make a private member, but we will make it and see. Class student, then if you see class attribute, we have attached or we have prefixed double underscore to the school name, double underscore to the school name, then it has become a private member. Similarly we have done it to the instance attribute also, private class attribute, private instance attribute, and then another private instance attribute. So finally we have made a method also private. Here we have a display, we have attached or we have prefixed double underscore to the display, that's the method name, then it has become a private method. This is how using a single underscore and double underscore prefixing to the name, we can make them either protected or private. So if it is a private member, we cannot access from anywhere. So it's completely access controlled. It is blocked, completely blocked. So let's wipe it off, and what we'll do now is we will open a Jupyter notebook. In that we will try to explore each thing using an example. Method overriding first, and then abstraction using our import class from the module, and the third one we will do is defining and creating public members, protected members and private members, and checking whether we are able to access them or not. Here it is. This is our Jupyter notebook. Let me begin. Let us begin with method overriding. So for method overriding, we will create three classes. Our base class or super class. We will take any one name. From now onwards, we will call it as a super class. Our super class is a bank. Here it is. That's a bank. Now in that I have defined one method, that is get ROI, get a rate of interest. So for bank, what is the rate of interest? It is 10. This is done. It is a one class. Then we will make subclass of bank. Our first subclass is SBI, capital S, capital B, capital I. And then the same method we are defining it, but with a specific implementation. For SBI, the return is 7. The rate of interest return is 7%. Whereas for bank, it is 10%. Because bank means it is general category. That's the reason the rate of interest is also general way. The medium, the average rate of interest that we have mentioned there, that is 10. That is 10. So now Here method specific implementation for the SBI is 7, and then let's check it is a class only, not to worry. And then we'll make another class. It is a subclass of which is a subclass of bank. Here it is, our super class is mentioned attached inside the parenthesis, and this is the name of the class, that is ICICI, and our method is specific to this class, though method name remains same, but it is a specific implementation. The rate of interest for ICICI bank class is 8. So now what we'll do is we will create different branches, because SBI is not a real entity. You know, SBI is the State Bank of India. That is an organization. But what is the real entity? If you go to the, so can you directly go to the SBI? It is impossible to go to directly SBI. I can go to SBI Bengaluru, SBI Marathalli, SBI Whitefield. I cannot go to SBI. What is SBI? SBI is a class or category. What is object? What is real entity? SBI branch in Marathalli or Whitefield. So that is the reason I have created a real entity, a real object. So that is branch 1. B1 is branch 1, which is we have created, we will make that instance using bank. And SBI branch 1 is S1 using SBI class, and I1 branch is belongs to I1 branch belongs to ICICI class. So now we have instantiated all our classes. So now we got 3 instances or 3 objects. So let me instantiate it. Okay, now I got 3 objects. Now what we'll do is we will call the method from each object, or in other way we will ask what is the interest rate in Whitefield SBI branch, and Whitefield ICICI branch, and Whitefield ICICI Bank of branch. Okay, let's see. For B1, branch, the rate of interest is 10, and for SBI branch 1, the rate of interest is 7. For for ICICI branch, the rate of interest is 8. So now get ROI, the method remains same for each class, but the implementation varies. So what do you make out of this? What can you understand out of it? SBI, ICICI classes are derived from their parent class bank, though we are able to do specific implementation of same method. We are using same method in a different way. This is done through method overriding. So this method, though it is similar for each and everything, but when it comes to that object, it becomes specific to that. So it automatically overrides the classes, the super classes method. It overrides the super class, because if we go back, I'll show you just a minute. The super class is here. It should return 10. So what it has done, but here in SBI it will return 7, because when you run this, it automatically overrides this return 10 and gives return 7 only. This concept in Python object oriented programming is called as method overriding. So now we will move into abstraction. We will move on to abstraction in Python. So first what we will do is, as we have discussed in our theory class, so here at this point we have discussed that we have a module called small a, small b, small c, ABC module. Using this we can actually make an abstract classes. So we will do that. So I have imported that ABC module, and I have checked the namespace. This is the namespace. To find out what is there in that namespace, we can use dir inbuilt function. Dir inbuilt function. So it consists of ABC class and ABC meta class, and then various inbuilt functions or methods which we have discussed in operator overloading. If you haven't watched that video, I am begging you to watch that video and learn it and come back here. So in this I have the inbuilt methods, and after that whatever I have is methods that belongs to that ABC module. So out of which I want capital A, capital B, capital C class. So what I will do is I will check what is this ABC. So help module, connect capital A, capital B, C with that and execute. Okay, fine, don't mind. So class ABC, this is that, and it actually inherits from somewhere else, that is built-in dot objects. Now helper class that provides a standard way to create an ABC using inheritance. Now data and other attributes defined here. Okay, so now using this you can actually create an abstract classes. So now what we will do is we will take the above example, this bank example, and then we will create one method in it, one more class in it, and we will try to check whether we are able to hide, abstract the Python methods or classes using this module or not. Okay, for that what I have to do is I have to open Visual Studio Code in the same root directory. So now I have created a file with a name capital CL class underscore ABC dot py. Okay, so now my super class is again the same code will be repeated. Super class is bank, and derived classes, I have two derived classes, and each are deriving from the bank only. One is SBA class, another derived class is ICICI. Now I want to create, or I want to add an abstract class to it. For that what I have done is I have imported ABC module and capital ABC class from that module. Now let's create. So I have created one class. The name of the class is class name. That's the name of the class name, and it will inherit from capital A, capital B, capital C class. That is from ABC module. And as usual, I have just given some dummy parameters and then a dummy attributes, instance attribute. Let's print this is the abstract class, and this cannot be instantiated. Let's see whether it can be instantiated or not. I will save this one and I will get back to our Jupyter notebook, and we'll see whether we can do abstraction of classes or not using this module. Okay, so now, so what I will do is I will import from ABC module. I will import ABC, capital A, capital B, capital C. Now, so this is the class we have written. We have attached this class to our Visual Studio Code. So now the actual begins. What is the file name that we have given? file name is clsabc.py. So I have to import that. So that for that I have to use class abc. There is no other option. You have to use the file name to import that. So we will import. Yes, it got imported. No error at all. It hasn't thrown any error. So now we will check the namespace, what all it consists of. It consists of ABC class, a bank class, class name, ICICI class, SBI, but it does not have any methods in it. It consists of these inbuilt methods. Other than that, inbuilt methods are different, methods are different. Inbuilt methods we have discussed in operator overloading. You just go back and watch that video if you haven't watched. So let's go back to the Visual Studio Code and check what all we have written. We have written bank class, it is there, state SBI class, ICICI class, and class name is one class. Of course, it has inherited, this class name is being inherited from ABC class. So that's why, and that too we have imported that. So these two also will be considered as a classes. So total we should have 5 classes. Let's see how many we have. We have total 5 classes in that module. Fantastic. So now, so this is how an abstract class works. And so now what we will do is we will move on to another topic, which are public members, protected members, and private members. For that, to define, what we will do is we will write a separate file, and then we will define all 3 types of methods inside that class, and then we will see how that does work. So I have created a file which is this, and file name is public protected private.py. So this is the module name. In short, I have given triple P, so that if I want to import this file, so I have to use this triple P, and then year 2022, and version is 2.1, description about data abstraction. Okay, now what I'll do is, so I have added, just for fun, I have added this version control. uh, so like present year, and then minus previous year, so whichever, then automatically it should add every year 0.1 version. That's okay, it's just fun. Then I have added 3 types of 3 classes. In each class I have added the 3 different types of members in it. So now our first class is public. In public, I have used public members without attaching or prefixing any underscore. So school name is our class attribute. Then we have parameterized constructor. In it I have, again, without prefixing any underscore, I have written my instance attributes, name and age. And then finally we have a one method. That method name also without prefixing any underscore. So this is also a public method. So we have a public class attribute, public, here it is, public class attribute, public class instance attribute, public instance attribute, and public method. So completely this public class is consists of public members only. Public. Now the second class what we have is protected members, and then the second class name is protected. So let's see how we will add. So our class attribute is being prefixed with single underscore. So once you prefix this with single underscore, then this means it is a protected member. It is a protected class attribute. Then we have again our instance attribute that is also prefixed with single underscore. So these are called protected instance attribute. And finally, we have a method which is also prefixed with single underscore. So this is also called protected method. So finally, this class we have named it as a protected, and it consists of protected members. And then final class what we have is a private class. The name of the class is private, and we have a class attribute and which school name, and which is prefixed with two underscores, double underscore. So then this means it is a private member, or it is a private class attribute. Then again we have instance attribute which is also prefixed with double underscores. So then this also means it is a private instance attribute. And finally we have a method name. The method name is also prefixed with double underscore. So then this means this is also a private method. So like that we have our class private is class private consists of three all instance attributes and class attributes and private methods are as private members. Now I will save this code and I will get back to the Jupyter notebook and will start exploring the functions and access control of each member using respective classes. First we'll begin with the public members. So in public members, generally methods declared in a class and are accessible from outside the class. So whatever you declare in this class, everything is accessible from outside. So basically this we have put it in a one file, in a one module. Later we will call that module and we will access each and everything and we'll test it. But for now, just for your understanding, I'm showing it here. And protected members, again we have a protected members of a class are accessible from within the class and are also available to its subclasses, but no other environment is permitted to access it. That's what our and finally private member, the double underscore fixed to a variable makes it private. It gives a strong suggestion not to touch it from outside the class. Any attempt to do so will result in an attribute error. So now this is how we have defined all. So now we will experiment. I hope for this you have been waiting for, but we'll experiment public, protected, private members and their behaviors. So what is the name of the file we have written? P.py. So to import that file, I have to use the name of that file. So I have imported the file using that name. So everything is no issue with the import. So it's fine. Now let us check the namespace. What does that file consist of? What all names are there? Obviously whatever there in their global space, that only can be seen. If it is inside the method or inside the class, it can't be seen. So we have three classes which are private class, protected class and public class. And then these are inbuilt method. So if you do not know what it is, you just go back and watch my previous videos on method overloading. And then these are description, file name, version control, year. So these are all global scope. I'll just go back to the file and show it to you, then it will be much clearer to you. So here it is. File name, year, version, description, and then version control is a method. So these are all the class attributes. And then one method or one function. Sorry, you should not call it as a method. You should call it as a function. Version control as a function. Okay. Now, what we'll do is we will use version control function or in related to module, connected with the module, and we'll see. So now in 2024, it's 2.1 version. Now I will see in 2008 2028, which version it will be? It will become a 6.1 version. So like that, this module version can be improved. Then let's begin experimenting with public members. First, let us improve the public class. Let us import the public class from triple P. That's the name of our module, and import only public class. Now, what is there in the public class? Let's check. Again, everything inside is a namespace. Then access first we will access class attribute. Then create an object, and then we will see whether we can access instance attribute or not. And finally, we will access methods also. Basically, we are accessing everything inside that namespace. Let's see whether we are able to do it or not. First thing, let's execute. Namespace, it consists of school name. It is a class, and then inside it we have display. Sorry, school name is our class attribute. Inside that we have a display method. So now I want public dot school name. The class attribute I am able to access it. The school name is XYZ school. Then what we will do is we will create an object, or we will create an instance, or we will instantiate this class. And so once the name of that instance or object is school1. Now using that school1, we will try to access the instance attributes. School1 dot name of the school, what we have given is ABSAA, and school1 dot name EPSA, and school age is 18. So basically we are getting. Finally, we will display the method. So we have displayed the method. This is a public, it is related to a public object, and then it's display of triple P class. So this is what I hope you got what I'm trying to say. So by this it's clear that if you use a public member, we are able to access, not only we, everybody can access this from anywhere. So now let's move to protected, and we'll see what all we can do and what all we can't do. So again we'll import a protected class from the triple P module, and we'll check the namespace of it, and then we will try to access school name. School name is a class attribute. So we are able to get the namespace, but in that namespace you can see single underscore prefixed to the school name. That's a class attribute and method also. But we are unable to fetch the value or fetch the school name. That is the issue, because type object protected has no attribute. Okay, that's my mistake. So we are able to fetch XYZ school. So that's how, like, using that we can there is some limitation or some access, we can fetch this from here, and then a bit of use it for the inside the class. We can use it, and we can use it use it for the subclasses, but we cannot use it for any other purpose. So let's see here. So now what we'll do, we'll create an object that's school2, name of the object, and obviously our class is protected, and then this is the name of the school, and total age of the school is 19. Now we'll try to access instance attributes. So we are unable to access those. So now what we'll do is we will move on to private. For private, let us import private class and then print dir private whatever is there in, and try to access school name, that class attribute, and let's see. We are able to fetch the we are able to fetch the namespace in it. Basically we are unable to fetch the method, but we are able to fetch only that yeah, here it is given at ahead. We are able to fetch class attribute and then our class method. We are able to fetch both method and then class attribute, but it is clearly mentioning that this is private. This is private. See, private school name, private display, but actual names are not private. We have given like this. This is how we have given double underscore prefixed, but here it is showing. So that's what it is taking. So now I try to access the school name class attribute, but what it is showing is type object private has no attribute school name. Okay, now similarly we will do for with others. Similarly we'll do with we'll create an school object. The an object name is 3, and then we'll try to access instance attribute. We got the same error, and we'll try to access the display, that where private method we got the same error. So that's how it works. So this is the demonstration of private members. So thus far we have demonstrated public member, private protected member, and then private members. So basically if you use a private member, the access to those global namespace or whatever is there inside that file is completely secured. Nobody can access that file. Nobody can access that namespace. They can see the namespace, but they cannot use it. So with this, I'm closing this session. I hope you enjoyed it, you liked it. So if you like it, just keep watching it, keep subscribing it, and keep spreading a word of mouth to your friends, so that everybody can get benefit out of this knowledge. And thank you for watching me, and see you again on another session with a big blast.